What's up guys? Right now we've got a Gears giveaway promotion going on, so don't forget to stick around to the end of this video and click on the link that tells you where to go. Thanks. Man, that light is bright and futuristic. That's so much better and classically styled. What's up everyone, and welcome to this episode of Gears TV. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the Blok snow goggle from Giro. So today, with a lot of things, it's cars, everything like that, there seems to be this desire to go back to what's old, to retro styling, to make things really look classic. But people really don't want to sacrifice those technological advancements that have come up over the past few years. And one of the places that those is most prevalent is in outdoor gear. And particularly the thing we're going to talk about today, this goggle, the Blok from Giro, has some really super classic lines, but still doesn't sacrifice the modern technologies that make these goggles really great. So first up, let's talk about the materials and construction of the Blok goggle. Now, the first thing that we're going to start with is where the goggle meets the face, this triple layer foam right here. Now, Giro uses a triple layer foam for a couple of purposes. One, the outermost layer, the part that's right up against the goggle, is a little more dense foam. It's going to form a nice seal. The middle layer here is going to then allow some ventilation, but still provide a lot of cushioning on the face. And then this third layer, which is the most small and thin, which you may probably not be able to see there, is really super soft, almost like a kind of a microfiber backing that just makes it super duper comfy when it's on your grill. The strap of the Blok, which you can see here, is about 1.5 inches wide, give or take, pretty standard for a goggle strap. And what I like about it is it's got two beads fully, all the way around, two beads of silicone all the way around the strap. You can see that here and back here, and it extends even in the extension part under there. So what's great about that is that this thing's going to stay stuck to a helmet or to your head if you choose not to wear a helmet, but it really sits very well. And since it's a full all the way around silicone beading on both the top and bottom, that makes it extra sticky, and it doesn't mean that it's got to be lined up in a very specific place to hang on to what it needs to hang on to. So in the Blok, design and construction really go hand in hand, and one of the key things that they did was using their relationship with Carl Zeiss Vision. They really made sure that this goggle lens, although with classic styling, which we're going to talk about in a minute, still used expansion view technology, which is going to give you the widest possible field of vision, even in a more classic frame that's got a little more confining lines around it. Now, what's really obvious right at the outset for these goggles is, again, they have a very classic look. It's kind of harkening back to the glory days of the 1980s, 1990s of goggle styling, where nowadays a lot of goggles, and we like these just as much, tend to be the completely almost frameless technology, or at least a more spherical lens. Now, about lenses, there are basically two types of lenses. There's a spherical lens where it's going to have an overall spherical shape on the front of it. Just to show you what a spherical lens looks like, this is the Giro onset, and you can probably see there, if you were to extrapolate this thing out into several lenses, it would probably form a sphere at some point. Now, the Giro Blok uses a cylindrical lens, which is still obviously curved this way, but it's not spherically oriented top to bottom. The first time I tried these on, I was actually pretty certain that the field of vision was going to be slightly compromised because of the frame, because as you can see, it does hang over a little bit. It doesn't appear as broad as other frames, because generally speaking, a spherical lens is going to give that more broad spectrum look from the outside. But they did a really nice job keeping the field of vision really, really wide. I mean, from here, I can see my finger to about right there. So that's pretty close to 180 degrees on each side. The one spot that may be a tiny bit compromised, and this is definitely nitpicking, so it's not something that stood out to me. It's just something that I kind of stood in the goggles for a few minutes and tried to see where my field of vision would begin to be kind of sacrificed, is right around the nose piece here. Now, I can see where possibly if these points were rounded out a little bit more and perhaps the backing materials kind of pulled down just a hair, it might expand that. But again, I don't really feel like that's necessarily important to the quality and to the field of vision of this particular lens. Venting on the Blok is right where it should be. It's a very thin piece of foam that you can see here over across the full spectrum that goes across the entirety of the top of the goggle, full spectrum venting system right here. Now, it's a thin piece of foam that's obviously going to keep out incoming air, but still allow the goggle to vent to prevent fogging and things like that. Additionally, it also uses Giro's stack vent system, which I'm going to show you by looking like a tremendous dork in the Giro Combine, which we reviewed a week ago. Now, as I stand here looking like a nerd in front of you, Giro's stack venting system, what that means is that you can see these vents right here on the front side of the Combine. the vents on the top side of the Blok goggle and most of Giro's goggles spill right into those vents. So in a lot of helmets or some other helmets, they're not going to be any vents right there. So you're essentially going to be closing off the top vents of the goggle, which kind of prevent them from acting as though they want to, the way that they want to, and venting the goggle properly, preventing fogging and the like. In this setup, those again spill right into these front side vents and also can filter in some nice clean air and keep them nice and filtered. So the lens used on the model of the Blok that we have is the Loden Green lens, which has a 26% VLT, visible light transmission. So that's going to make this particular lens really nice for partly cloudy, partly sunny days when the light is semi-flat, but you still have enough to see most of the terrain that you're going over. Now, one of the things that I do like and keeps the style really on point with these is the light mirror coating. Again, that doesn't affect really the overall light transmission to a large degree, but it does give it a really slick mirrored look, even in a low, for a kind of semi-low, semi-high light goggle like this. So that's really nice. Now, additionally, internally there's an anti-fog coating. To be honest, in our written review and right now, I don't really have cause to really mention it that much because I just didn't notice it. Now, I think that's a good thing in a goggle when you don't notice something because it's doing its job. Now, had I sat there and said, well, I noticed it didn't fog up most of the time, then you know that it fogged up. This didn't fog up. It really stayed nice and clear the entire time. And again, I have to attribute that largely to the venting on the top here, the stack venting in the helmet, and also these nice vents along the bottom that are going to keep nice airflow throughout the goggle. As for fit, these are really nice. There's nothing uncomfortable about them. That 3-layered foam makes them really comfortable up against the face. I wear them only with a helmet. I've not worn them strictly without a helmet yet. I may on like a snowshoe or something like that, but when I ski or snowboard or whatever, I do tend to wear a helmet all the time, as you should. Listen to your parents. That was horrible, sorry. I've worn these with a helmet and they fit nicely. They don't cause any discomfort. They sit nicely on the helmet. I've worn it with several different helmets actually, and they always fit just where I'd want them to. There's not a ton of extra pressure. Even if you were to tighten down the strap more than I use it tightened down, I don't think that there would be any uncomfortable pressure. And that 3-layer density foam does definitely help with that. At $90, you're going to have a hard time finding a goggle that's got quite as much bang for the buck as the Blok does. Additionally, they've got a lot of different colorways of this. One of the cool things that you can see if you go to our written review is that they've got San Francisco 49er color goggles, and then they've got this, which, being a Denver Broncos fan and living in the Denver metro area, sort of in Boulder, this is the Seahawks color. But there are a lot of different colors. They have cool, like, kind of branding on the side there. It says Giro since what does it say? Since 1985 or since 85. It's really nice, really retro, classic styling looks. But again, it doesn't sacrifice that technology, and we really like that. So kudos to Giro for sticking up for some classic lines, bringing back some looks that people have really wanted to see, but also maintaining that superb technology that has been around for the past few years and not abandoning that completely. So really solid goggle. Definitely check out the Giro Blok. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Gearist TV. Don't forget to visit Gearist.com while you're there and take a look around at all of our other reviews, and let us know if you want to see anything. If you'd like to see a particular product reviewed or us to go more in depth about a certain product, leave all your questions and comments in the questions and comments section below this video on YouTube.com/TheGearist. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Currently, as I speak, we're at February whatever 2014, but we've got a promotion going on. If you see this after March 8th, which is when that promotion closes, we probably still have a promotion going on. So definitely subscribe to this channel if you want to be in the know with giveaways and promotions and things like that, and to see all our latest reviews, which is what we're all about. We've got a lot of reviews coming up for spring and summer running shoes and running gear, and a lot of bike stuff. So definitely subscribe to this channel. You're going to be able to do so by clicking on the beautiful blue subscribe button that's going to be right here in just a couple seconds. So do that, visit Gearist.com and subscribe to this channel. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next time. Hey there, everyone, and thanks so much for watching this episode of Gearist TV. Please click on that wonderful, beautiful blue subscribe button right there. Also, if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the questions and comments section below. And don't forget to visit Gearist.com. We'll talk to you next time.